Hey, what's up everyone? It's Tim from Timbo Toys doing another video here. Not a haul video, but this one is just an opportunity to talk about some things that I've been chewing on, thinking about, that I thought might be helpful to share. So I hope that you can grab your cup of coffee, join me this morning, and let's talk about world building. And I want to start with defining what is world building. It's something I talk about a lot, I mention a lot, I use those terms with others, and I realize that sometimes people may not necessarily know what that means. So I thought we'd do a video here today just to talk about what world building is and why try it, why do it. So let's start with what is world building. Now this is my definition, how I define it. Maybe you define it differently, that's fine. Maybe there's something you would add, that's fine. But for right now, this is the definition I use. If I'm talking to a friend or somebody and they say, hey, what is this world building? This is what I would tell them and how I would define it. And for me, it's expanding upon and or creating new stories within the universe of your favorite genre, movies, or TV shows. Again, just my way of defining it. That's okay if you define it differently, but this is how I would explain it to others. This is world building in a nutshell. So to expound upon this a little bit further, the community that I do a lot of interacting with on Instagram and YouTube world builds in, you could say it's the genre of sci-fi, but it's within the movie and the TV show of Star Wars. The Star Wars universe. We're building places, we're building cities. A big thing among world builders in Star Wars is to build a space station. There are many world builders out there that build space stations, something floating around in space, creating a backstory with it. Some even build, within a Star Wars city, like take Coruscant, for example. That's thousands of levels. And so some maybe pick a level that, has never been shown, and they build in that. World building can encompass different timelines. Some might build in the timeline of the prequel trilogy, episodes 1, 2, and 3, and the Clone Wars. Some might choose to world build in the original trilogy timeline. Maybe episode 4, New Hope, something's going on, shortly after, Luke Skywalker, meets Ben Kenobi. Some might build, during the events of Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. My world building is a couple years after Return of the Jedi. And, when you world build, you are telling stories, you're imagining, things that your favorite characters, might be doing. Many in Star Wars, love Darth Vader. And so, what's something that, you might imagine Darth Vader up to, during, his timeline. And you world build around that. My world building, here's a beautiful sketch of my planet. I've chosen to kind of world build on a planet so I can have many, different type settings. I've got my mountain space station called Jam Jam 9. I've got some other small cities. I've got, a city that has my strip mall with my comic book shop. And but my planet's called Yeta 5. It's on the outskirts, like the very, very, very far outskirts of the known galaxy in Star Wars. It's a diverse planet, as you can see. It's not kind of the, Tatooine looks like just, a desert planet. I decided I wanted to have, a variety. There are deserts and things like that on my planet, but there's also forests, there's woodlands, there's mountains, there's, islands. So it gives me a lot of diversity. And I also build, as you can even see here, I've got both 1/18th scale, or 3.75, and 1/12 scale, what's known as the Black Series. I really enjoy building in both, and so this is the world that I build in. So So why would you want to world build? Well, let's talk about that. And this is by no means an exhaustive list, but I do think I have some really good answers to why you might want to consider, getting into world building. First and foremost, you get to have fun. Um, you're building, you're creating, that's fun. I personally believe it's how we were made. And when we build, when we create, it reflects our purpose. And, the idea of creating something new is appealing. We love new. New sometimes is fun. And when you world build, you're creating something new. There's that opportunity to create something new. Gathering ideas and thinking about, how you might world build, what you might world build is fun. And building, your world, building your station, building your city, thinking about the materials that you might use for that: wood, foam, cardboard. It's all exercising, creativity. And, you can build out of all kinds of things. I use wood. A couple of the play sets that you see in the background here are ones that I've made out of wood. These were a couple that I just really, really liked. I decided I wanted to keep for my 1/18th scale world building. But I also build out of foam. I build out of plastic. I mean, there's just all kinds of material. I think sometimes it just depends on what you're most comfortable with and, what you have access to. But all of that is fun. And the other fun part about it is, you get to control this world. So much of life can feel completely out of control. And so it's nice to have something that, is completely under our control and our will. I mean, from how it looks, how people act, how people interact with each other, how they treat one another. All of that's our choice. And it's fun. So why world build? Well, you get to have fun. Second reason, you get to tell untold stories. I love this, untold stories. Maybe one of those untold stories that we want to imagine is, Darth Vader, having maybe met and, talked with Boba Fett before. When we have the three movies, we see Darth Vader and Boba Fett interact in The Empire Strikes Back. But, did they meet and interact before that? It maybe kind of seems like it. I know the comics, the new Star Wars comics, tell a little bit about this story. But in world building, you also get to, tell your own story of, Darth Vader meeting up with Boba Fett and what happened, what took place. And maybe for some of us too, it's just wondering and exploring and telling the story of what the Empire was up to in other parts of the galaxy. That's what I do with my planet, Yeta 5. The Empire is, come there and they're mining a certain material that is not quite as strong as Beskar, but is very, very durable. And they're trying to just, take all of that from the planet. So that's, some of my lore, some of my backstory to my planet. But you get to tell those stories. Maybe you get to tell the story of another rebellion. Were there other rebellions in the Star Wars galaxy? Do these characters that we love, do they do anything fun? Are they just, serious and about the mission, all the time, or do they relax? I imagine my characters having fun. That's why I, in part, created my sci-fi comic book shop. I've got characters coming in there, searching for certain comics or action figures. But, you get to tell these untold stories, and it's a lot of fun to explore that. Third reason why world build is that you get to introduce new characters. This is another really exciting part of world building is introducing new characters, and it could be as simple as you've got a stormtrooper, and you just want to give that stormtrooper a name. His name's Bill. He's 23 years old. He joined the Empire at a young age, and he's stuck on some planet in the outskirts and trying to figure out if the Empire is, worth sticking with. So stories like that, you get to tell. or characters like that, you get to introduce. And, if you really get into the world building, you might even, start to, consider this idea of customizing and making custom Star Wars characters. And that was something that I did with Figtober this year. And, one of the things that, I did that I really, really enjoyed doing was creating characters of my kids. So here's my oldest. This character is named Claire, kind of a mercenary type character. This is my middle child. This character's name is Willow, studying to be a Mandalorian. And this is my son, my youngest, who's also learning what it means to be a Mandalorian. So, and his name is Freddle. So we got Freddle, not Frodo, different story. But we got Freddle, we've got Willow, and then Claire. And so it's super exciting to, bring my kids into my world building and, introduce them as characters. And so you could also, some people even create a multiverse that, maybe, your familiar characters in the Star Wars universe meet up with, some of your favorite superheroes in the Marvel universe or the DC universe or even other universes, G.I. Joe. I know a lot of people like to use, some kind of, interdimensional portal that, allows things to come through and kind of, bridges that gap of, the different universes. And, that's a lot of fun too as well. So while world build, you get to have fun, you get to tell untold stories, you get to introduce new characters, and then finally, you get to play with your toys. Play with your toys. Building scenes is a lot of fun. You're putting the action in action figures. You might even start to really get into photography as you start to world build and start to, place your characters, set them up, display them in certain ways. I mean, photography is a lot of fun. It's, something that, I want to get better at. And I've been trying to learn from other great photographers. Love the photography of, Wintzilla. He does some great pictures. And there's so many others in the community, in the toy collecting community that, take great pictures, fun pictures, and you can learn from them. But this is setting up your toys for photography, displaying them, putting them in scenes, action scenes, and then trying to capture that with, with photography is a lot of fun. And, our phones nowadays have great cameras. So you can get some really, really good pictures, just using your phone. But it's a way you get to play with your toys. And, just displaying your world, displaying your figures. That's a way to, play with your toys, setting up different scenes, like the one I had, earlier here in the background with the 1/18 figures. I've been taking some pictures of that, but, it's just a way to, play with your toys. I mean, this world building is, collecting in a whole different way. I mean, when you think about collecting, there's, what I would consider, the in-the-box collectors that, want stuff, whatever it is, Star Wars, G.I. Joe. They want the stuff in the box. They want to keep it in the box, keep it nice. And that's one way to collect. Nothing wrong with that. But then there's also those that, open up their figures. And then in world building, you're not just opening up your figures, but you're opening up your figures to tell a story with, maybe to customize, to really, really tell your own story. But it's just, again, you get to play with your toys when you world build. And so this is, I think, some reasons why you should consider getting into world building. And it doesn't take a lot of room. You can do it in a very, very small area. You can also do it in a large area too as well. But I hope it's something that you'll consider. I hope maybe that this has been somewhat helpful in just explaining a little bit of what it is and why I enjoy doing it. But thank you for joining me this morning. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day, and hope you get to do some world building. Take care.